They thought my brother was too weak to fight back, so they tried to erase his dignity with one signature. They forged documents, staged fake medical proofs, and declared him incompetent. But the moment he walked into court, everything they built burned to ashes. My name is Aiden, and this is the story of how my own family tried to destroy my brother, just to steal everything he ever earned. This is not a story about strangers, not outsiders, not enemies. This is a story about blood that turned toxic when money entered the picture. My brother Ethan, quiet, hardworking, gentle, the kind of man who would rather help than ask for help. But his biggest weakness was trusting people who didn't deserve even a second of his kindness. He had been managing our father's small business after Dad's illness, keeping the finances stable, paying the bills, and supporting the entire family without complaint. No vacations, no big dreams, just responsibility. But in every family, there are people who can smell opportunity like wolves smell injured prey. And in our family, those wolves were our own relatives, 2 cousins and an uncle, who had always despised Ethan for being the good son, the one Dad trusted, the one who handled money, the one who actually cared. Jealousy grew quietly in their hearts like poison. But jealousy wasn't enough. Greed needed more. Greed needed control. And control is exactly what they planned to take. The first sign of betrayal, it began small enough that Ethan didn't notice. A few questions about Dad's medical funds, a few concerns about the business accounts, a few suspicious phone calls when they thought no one was listening. Then the tone changed. They stopped visiting Dad, stopped asking about his health, stopped pretending to care. Their interest switched completely to money. But even then, none of us expected what they were about to do, because what they did crossed every line of humanity. The petition. One morning, Ethan received a court notice. He thought it was a mistake, something routine, but when he opened it, his hands shook. It was a petition, filed by our uncle and cousins. The claim? That Ethan, the same man who managed our father's business flawlessly for years, was mentally incompetent, that he was incapable of handling finances, that he had worsening behavioral issues, that he was unfit to make legal or financial decisions, and that they, yes, the same people who never lifted a finger, should be appointed as legal guardians over him and over every financial asset in his name. It felt like the air had been punched out of the room. Ethan read it again and again, as if reading it one more time would change the words. But it didn't. This was betrayal, cold, calculated betrayal, and it was aimed directly at him. Who would do this? To their own family? He whispered. But I knew the truth even before he did. Money can turn family into predators, especially when the prey never expects it. The fraud deepens. We rushed to the courthouse to get more details. What we discovered made our stomachs twist. Our uncle and cousins had attached fake medical evaluations, fake psychological assessments, fake doctors' signatures, and fake statements claiming Ethan was confused, unstable, and unable to manage even daily tasks. They had created an entire fictional world where my intelligent, capable brother was painted as a broken man. The goal was simple: take control of his assets, take control of Dad's business, and take control of every penny Ethan had worked for since he was 19 years old. They thought he would panic. They thought he would crumble. They thought he would remain silent, the way he always did during conflicts. But sometimes, a quiet man becomes dangerous when pushed to the very edge. And Ethan had just reached that edge, the turning point. At first, Ethan didn't want to fight, not because he was scared, but because he couldn't understand why. Why would his own family destroy him? Why would they lie? Why would they humiliate him publicly? Why would they drag him through the mud? Just for money? He spent nights staring at the petition, as if trying to find a clue. Anything that explained their cruelty. But there was no explanation, only greed. One night, I found him sitting at the dining table, dark circles under his eyes, the petition in his hands. He looked up and said, "If they want to prove I'm incompetent, I'll show the court how competent I really am." The fire in his eyes scared me, not in a bad way, but in a way that told me something had awakened in him, something powerful, something unbreakable. And that's the night the fight began, the preparation. We contacted a legal team, not just any team, the best we could afford. Ethan gathered every document, every bank statement, every business ledger, every receipt, years of proof that he had handled everything with honesty and precision. We contacted Dad's real doctors, got real medical reports, got real mental evaluations, everything professionally verified. Within 2 weeks, we had built a mountain of evidence. Meanwhile, our uncle and cousins had no idea what was coming. They believed Ethan was still that quiet, harmless man, the one who avoided conflict, the one who bowed his head to keep the peace. They didn't know that they had just created a version of Ethan they were not prepared to face. The courtroom. The courtroom was full the day of the hearing. Relatives whispered. Neighbors stared. Everyone wanted to know, was Ethan really incompetent? Or was this the biggest fraud our family had ever seen? The judge walked in. The hearing began. Our uncle's lawyer spoke first, painting Ethan as unstable, frazzled, unable to manage money, a danger to himself. Ethan sat there, quiet, calm, expressionless. Then they presented the doctor's report, the fake one, the forged one, the one that said Ethan was mentally declining. The judge frowned. Something didn't feel right. Then it was our turn. Ethan stood up, straightened his shoulders, walked to the witness stand, and what happened next? Silenced the entire courtroom. Ethan's explosive testimony. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't shout. He didn't curse. He simply told the truth, with a clarity so sharp it cut through every lie they had built. He explained how he managed the family business, how he paid every medical bill, how he supported Dad without asking anyone for a rupee, how he kept track of every expense, how he ran the accounts flawlessly. Then he pulled out the real medical reports, signed, sealed, verified. Reports that clearly stated Ethan was mentally sound, emotionally stable, highly responsible, and perfectly capable of managing everything. The courtroom was frozen. Then came the moment that burned their entire case to ashes. Ethan held up the forged documents, the fake ones they had submitted, and looked straight at our uncle. These signatures are fraudulent. Gasps filled the room. The judge's face hardened. What evidence do you have? Ethan took out Dad's doctor's affidavit, a legally authenticated statement confirming that the signatures were false. Then he submitted handwriting analysis proving the documents were forged. Silence, heavy, cold, dangerous. Our uncle's face turned pale. The cousins shifted nervously. Their lives were collapsing, in real time. The verdict? The judge leaned forward. Her tone was firm, sharp, unyielding. This petition is not only dismissed, but appears to be a deliberate attempt to defraud the court, misuse legal procedures, and exploit a family member for financial gain. The courtroom buzzed like a hive. Our uncle stuttered, tried to speak, tried to explain, but the judge raised her hand, silencing him instantly. You will face consequences, she said, and trust me, they will be severe. It was over. Their fraud didn't just fail, it exploded in their faces. The aftermath. Outside the courthouse, Ethan finally breathed freely. For the first time in weeks, he stood tall. No fear, no guilt, no confusion, just strength. I'm done protecting people who tried to destroy me, he said quietly. That day, he set boundaries. Boundaries he should have set years ago. He cut ties, blocked numbers, filed legal complaints for forgery, took control of his life again. And the best part? The business flourished. Dad recovered slowly and told Ethan he was proud of the son who didn't break, even when the whole family tried to crush him. The final message. If you ever feel betrayed by your own blood, remember Ethan's story. Silence doesn't protect you. Kindness doesn't change a greedy heart. And family isn't about shared DNA. It's about loyalty. Set boundaries. Stand up for yourself. And when someone tries to take what's yours, fight back with truth. Because truth, no matter how late, always wins. Even in court. Even against family. Even against people who once smiled at your table.